I've got another package which arrived today that I want to show you. I've made a bit of a start on opening this one because there was lots of tape involved in this package, which I couldn't quite get into. So I've just cut open the envelope here. So this one is coming to me from Tasmania, and it's another little release which I just got as part of research for a new cassette culture episode, which will be coming out pretty soon. So, if you know, you know. Rising from the Red Sand, Volume 1 and 2. I don't know why I don't have this, but that's the case, and managed to find it from a seller in Tasmania who had this one. I want to show you a few little features on this cassette. So released by Third Mind Tapes in 1983, slightly guessing on there, around about 1983, and this one is catalogue number TMT04. And one of the things that immediately I really like about this is part of the sort of DIY production method. So TMT and the words side on that bottom strip there are somehow printed onto the paper, but the first and the 04 are typewritten. So, and I can see the slight sort of embossing on those characters. It looks really cool, the combination of typewritten thing there. And so obviously there's a sort of economy of production. So he could produce a load of these strips with TMT catalogue number and the side, and then reuse them for whatever release and whatever side of the cassette they replied to. So awesome little feature there. It's weathered really well. The graphics on it have a really nice balance to my eye, albeit done, in a style of the period. So this one is in the black wallet. There's a couple of different versions of this released with a blue and a red wallet. Inside this first leaf is the track listing. So I might just get this out carefully. I can show you here. The writing, to my eyes, is incredibly small. So actually, if I hold it up to the camera, you'll see it. You'll see it better. So it's an absolute killer lineup on this compilation. Chris and Cosey, Attrition, Legendary Pink Dots, Konstruktivits, Pseudocode, Nurse with Wound, Section 25, Test Department, Nocturnal Emissions. A lot of these artists were very early in their career at this stage, so Third Mind really had some fantastic ears and curated a great set of artists for these releases, and I guess that's why Rising from the Red Sand has become such a sort of touchstone release of the period. So I've got an interview coming up with Dave Henderson, who's the journalist who wrote for the Sounds music paper in the UK from 1983 onwards for a few years. And one of the things that he did, certainly the thing which has become pretty legendary among cassette scene people, is the Wild Planet column. So it started off with a big feature in the magazine, a kind of overview of the UK scene at the time, and then periodically was like a once a month or so column that reviewed cassettes that had come in. And I think the big difference which happened at that stage, so this is 83, so we've had like the first flush of punk rock DIY, just do it kind of approach to it, where there was a lot of lot of bedroom bands kind of just putting out their songs and literally just getting their stuff out there. Suddenly 83 seems like there's a different sensibility. Synthesizers and electronic instruments are becoming accessible for the first time. And so that has been allied with things like the Tascam Porter Studio 4-track recorder. So actually the audio ambition of a lot of this stuff is much higher. And suddenly there's a whole wave of these talented artists who are, using it. And here they are on Rising from the Red Sand. So that's volume 1. The seller that I bought this from then told me, oh, by the way, I've got volume 2, but it's in the red wallet. And, the first thing I've noticed on the red wallet, I've got to check whether this is actually kind of right or what am I looking at here? But there's a pretty spectacular typo in there, Voom 2, missing the L for volume 2. I'll check back on Discogs. Maybe I've got some sort of super rarity there. I don't know. But these two originally would be in matching wallets, and obviously go together, volume 1, volume 2, and then there were subsequent volumes in pairs of the series. But at least I thought, okay, I'm going to get volume 1 and volume 2 just for the musical sort of diversity on there. So this one, being the companion of volume 1, has something slightly different. In my case, I guess this is photocopying. It's kind of just sort of imprinted onto the vinyl. So I may be able to get that out, but maybe it's not worth bothering with. But this is like the production credits, little dedication on there. A few thanks. Also on here, it's listing Gary Levermore, who, as far as I know, is the person who ran Third Mind tapes and is in my sights to talk to as a guest. It would be really awesome to do a whole episode about Rising from the Red Sand, and then what Third Mind tapes went on to do after that. So yeah, maybe we try and make that happen. So thanks to my seller in Tasmania, I got these. So what I'm going to do now is probably just clean them up a little bit. And I think the first time I play them, I'll digitally capture them just in case anything happens with the tape, if there's any vulnerability of the tapes breaking or anything like that could happen. They're 35 years old after all, more than 35 years old. Now, I just wanted to tell you a little story, which is a somewhat apocryphal story that was related to me by the seller. So I asked him how come he happened across these tapes, which I don't know how widely they were sold. I know there's 3 different runs of them, but it would be kind of curious to find them pop up in Tasmania. So he said he's selling them on behalf of a friend of his in Tasmania who bought a job lot of cassettes from a woman whose partner had passed away, and she was selling his collection. And the friend of the seller believed that the partner was Bryn Jones, who recorded and performed under the name Muslim Gauze, who had just like a super prolific output and had releases from the 80s right through the 90s. And I don't know the story of his unfortunate passing, but yeah, this apparently comes maybe comes from his collection. Whether it's true or not, it's a nice story about these copies of Rising from the Red Sand. So yeah, how cool. As you can probably tell, I'm really chuffed to get these. So coming to a podcast episode soon.
Ready?